Okay, so we're currently here at the dyno, just letting it cool off a little bit. Car's still got a backfire, don't know why. On that, feels pretty good. I think it might need a tune at some point, so I think that's what we're gonna work on at some point, maybe next year. Yeah, here we go. We're about ready to get it on the dyno within the next 20 minutes or so. Oh, they're moving out cars right now to get to it. Okay, so I meant to do this a couple days ago, but didn't have a chance. So I'm gonna quickly walk you guys through the dyno, what happened, what issues we found, and yeah. So right here and here, you're gonna notice there's a massive dip. So the white line or the dotted line is torque. The solid line is horsepower. Now there's a massive dip right here. And you can see the dip right here also in horsepower. This right here was lean. So they had a sniffer pipe in the exhaust, which reads what the air fuel ratio is. Right here, it ran, what was it? Like 14s, 15s AFR, even getting close to 16s. We had to actually crank up the fuel pressure regulator to stop it from lean popping, because on the first pull you'll hear it, it actually does lean pop. And I think it hit 15.7 AFR. We cranked up the fuel pressure, we got the lean spot a little bit better, but it is still very, very lean. That might be a little bit easier for you guys to see. So it's still very lean here. So from about 2,200 to about 3,000 roughly. Somewhere in that range. There's a section right here, goes up, that's very lean. Immediately after, so right around here, as it comes up, this gets very rich right in here. So basically right after, we get really rich from about here to about here, which is about 5,000, 5,200 RPM. The engine is very, very rich. Almost off the charts rich. I think we saw between 10.6 and, between 9.6 and 10. Or 10.6, something like that. I know the worst part was 100%. I saw it was 9.6, which is horribly rich, way too much fuel. And then about here starts that 11.5. About here it's about 12, 12.8, 12.9, and then right where it flattens here, it's gone lean again, and it's at about 13. Now the factory ECU pulls right around here, it pulls fuel out. So that is the factory ECU cutting fuel right here. So from here to here, that's fuel cut on the ECU because it doesn't want it to keep going, which is why it forced it to try and lay over. More than likely, this will pick up a little bit more from here to here, and we'll rev it out a little bit more. So we should be able to bring it maybe to about here, and it's gonna taper down, But the hope is that we can kind of stretch a little bit more meat in this area before it kind of starts to come down. So the graph reads this is 7,000. It's about 6,200 in here. So we're gonna try and stretch it out a little bit more out to here. So we're gonna be about 6,600 RPM at some point is the goal. We're gonna try and spin it a little bit higher out to around here. Hopefully even if it stays flat, another couple hundred RPM and carries out just a little bit more down, like just a little bit more carry to it, that's fine. I don't mind if it tapers down to, 275 by like 6,500 RPM. That's fine. If it tapers down here, I don't care. Completely fine. Everything runs out of air at some point, but I feel we can stretch this out just a little bit further, gain some RPM with a tune. So what needs to happen is this area right here really needs to be addressed, and through here. So with a proper tune, this should actually come up more and be more rounded sort of thing. So there's probably maybe a solid 5 to 10 horsepower from about 5,000 to about 2,000 straight up. So essentially you're taking from about here and kind of rounding this whole area. And the torque should actually come up higher initially. So it should come up more, probably about here, and then kind of come in. Because it peaked torque at 5,000, I believe it was. Peak torque, 5,500 RPM. Peak horsepower, 6,050 RPM. So we definitely have some more room to grow in here, considering the pull stopped at about 6,300. So it peaked right around here and then the pull was over. So we have some more room with the tune to bring it out a little bit more. And the backfiring that I'm fighting in the intake is right here. You can see there's a lean spot. So by adding fuel to this section of the tune and removing fuel here, we should be able to pull this section up. So it should go up more. And then we can probably get this a little more straighter across, so it's kind of more of a, you know what I mean? Like, so it doesn't have this lull in it, because this is loaded up on fuel too much right here. This is heavy loaded on fuel. So this is where I believe it was 9.6. That's bad. It should be about 11.5. So if we pull it up and we pull that fuel out from here to here, this will go away. This will be level. So the potential is it's going to come up and it's going to come right across, essentially. Very like level and stable right across. And then we'll pick up some more meat from about here to here. And then with this come up with right here, we should be up quite a bit here because of the lean pop. It goes down. This should actually come up more. This will be gone. So it's going to be a nicer graph from basically when they started the pull, which was what? About 2,000 RPM, it looks like. Probably started, I don't think he started at 1,100 or 1,150. I don't think he started at 1,150, but he could have. But yeah, this area should look a little bit nicer right here. A little bit more meat here. And then this area should also have some more meat in it along with the torque. So 307, 280 torque isn't bad for this motor, all things considered. It's not tuned. It's got more power in it. With a good tune on it, it'll probably make peak will probably be maybe 315, maybe around 315, 320 at the wheel. Maybe that could be a little bit pushing it, but it very well could be 315 to 320 wheel. But it's going to be more from right here to right here that's going to have a noticeable gain. And then from, again, here to about here on torque is going to have a noticeable gain. It's going to be a lot more smoother. It's going to have a lot more power. And then some more extra RPM to carry it out a little bit farther in the track. So that's just a little walkthrough on what's going on with the dyno. There is some information. I want to make sure that it was perfectly clarified and you guys understand what actually happened and what was shown on here and what was being explained. So yeah, this is where we're having our issue. Just no fuel in here. Too much fuel from here to here. So from there to there, too much. And then okay right about here, and then lean here. So with a tune, we should gain a little bit more in this area, a little more RPM, and then quite a substantial jump in this range here. This will be gone. It'll kind of come up smoother. Same with this. It should come, like you can kind of see the angle it's going. It would have probably come up more along the lines of like around here, if that makes sense. You can see a very obvious layover, like it laid over. It didn't have fuel. And that happened with multiple dynographs. This one we kind of went past that area. You can see he got on it at about 2,500. It laid over again. This one here is because it's too rich. So it bogged when he hit the gas because there's too much fuel. I think he stretched this one out a little bit further. So kind of, it did lay over here, but this would have been about there's factory fuel cut. So we can stretch this out down to about here, make a little bit more in this area, and then clean up this part of the graph here. So if we can make a little bit more here and a little bit more in this section, and then fix what's going on down here, the car will be a hell of a lot better of a car. It'll be a different animal. But yeah, overall the car untuned did pretty well. And these things with heads, cam, and intake making over 310 at the wheel is quite a feat in and of itself. They don't usually make much over like 280 with heads, cam, intake. So it's doing pretty well. There's definitely more in it, and there'll definitely be more in it when I build the motor. So with new pistons, it'll probably be up in a solid like 50 horsepower. I'm guessing a solid 50 horsepower. Maybe more, maybe even closer to 75. But we'll find that out once the motor's built, once we get a tune in it, and we actually see what it does. Yeah, for now, like, comment, subscribe. See you guys in the next video.